Using the stages of information processing, analyze how a performer plays a shot in snooker. This is a 6 mark question, and as is the case with all 6 markers, we can get a maximum of 1 mark for A01, which is our application of knowledge, a maximum of 2 marks for A02, which is our explanation or examples, and a maximum of 3 marks for A03, which is our evaluation and link to performance. For A01, we need to simply show that we understand the different stages that take place as part of information processing. So we can say that the stages are input, decision making, output, and feedback. For our AO2 marks, we can give some examples of each stage of information processing relative to playing a shot in snooker, as the question has asked. So the input stage, we might say that the input could be the sight of the ball, or it could be the sight of the cue and the player's hand. For decision making, we could be which ball to aim for, how hard to hit the cue ball, whether to put some backspin or topspin onto the cue ball as you're playing a shot. Output is going to be the shot itself. And finally, feedback is going to be what was the outcome of the shot. So did the ball go in the pocket? Did the cue ball end up where the player wanted it to? For our three AO3 marks, we can delve a little bit deeper into each stage of information processing and exactly what's happening for the snooker player. So we might go into a bit more detail about the input stage and say that it's information taken from the display. And again, this could be the sight of the balls on the table and might include how they are set up for the player to play a shot. We could also mention selective tension as part of the input stage. And we could say that selective tension is filtering or blocking out irrelevant information from the display, such as any noise from a crowd. It could be ignoring other balls on the table and only focusing on the ball that the player is trying to hit. Decision making, we can say that long-term memory can be used to determine whether this situation has been dealt with before, and you can recall the skill that's been used in the past. So, for example, when you're taking the first shot in snooker, it's called the break, and all of the balls are set up always in the same way. So, hopefully, a player is able to use their long-term memory in order to make a good decision on how hard to hit the ball and where to hit it. In terms of output, you might go a little bit deeper into exactly what happens. So signals are sent from the brain to the muscles in order for the shot to be carried out. So the brain can send a signal to the bicep muscle, telling it how hard and how much pace to put onto the ball. And finally, you may discuss the feedback stage, and you can give an example of a type of feedback that's received after the shot has been played. So you could say that intrinsic feedback is received by the performer, and that is all about how they feel as they play the shot. Did they feel like they hit it too hard? It could be extrinsic feedback if a coach is giving them a little bit of feedback, or you could say knowledge of results, which is the outcome of the shot. So, did the ball end up in the pocket? And if so, that's probably some positive feedback for the player.